Not an animal you see every day unless you live in Australia or New Guinea. This is a quoll, Q-U-O-L-L. It's a marsupial and a carnivore. Some species are endangered, and because of invasive animals, disease, and habitat loss, some quolls have vanished from places where they once used to thrive. That's what's happened in Western Australia. But the nation's Wildlife Conservancy recently transported 11 of these cat-sized creatures about 2,500 miles across the continent. They were let loose at a wildlife sanctuary at nighttime when they're active. They're wearing radio collars that'll help officials keep track of how they're doing, and the hope is that these 11 quolls will join more than 24 others that were brought here earlier this year and once again repopulate Western Australia with quolls. Welcome to the world from A to Z with me. I'm Carl Azouz, pumped up to see you this Friday, as always. A little more than a month ago, we brought you a report on loneliness in America, that the U.S. Surgeon General had declared it an urgent public health concern. But the problem and the concerns about it aren't limited to the United States. On Thursday, the World Health Organization, which is part of the United Nations, said it had put together something called the Commission on Social Connection, and its goals will include fighting loneliness, which it also recognizes as an international health issue. The leader of the World Health Organization says the impacts of loneliness are physical and mental. People without sufficient social connections are at a higher risk of being anxious, depressed, developing dementia, or having a stroke. Being socially isolated can also affect behavior, according to health officials. High school students who experience loneliness are more likely to drop out. The issue is more widespread among young people than you might think. While social isolation is usually thought of as something that affects the elderly, and officials say it does impact around a quarter of them worldwide, the WHO says up to 15% of the world's young people are impacted by loneliness. So what the organization's new commission will be doing is promoting ways for people to connect with others and developing new strategies to help those whose mental health has been affected by loneliness. We'd like to get your thoughts on this. Why are so many people worldwide lonely or socially isolated, and what can be done to help with that? Teachers, please leave a comment under today's show at youtube.com/@theworldatozz.
A word of knowledge. Which of these nations declared its independence from France in 1804? Haiti, Guinea, Monaco, Switzerland. Guinea did get its independence from France, but not until 1958. It was Haiti that declared independence in the early 1800s.
The CIA World Factbook lists Haiti as the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, and it's struggled for decades under government corruption and instability, catastrophic natural disasters, and rising crime and gang violence. But amid the many problems of the Caribbean country, there are people and organizations doing all they can to help.
Haiti's government is shutting down orphanages, and social workers are scrambling to help children reunite with their families. The situation is complicated. In Haiti, many parents leave their kids at an orphanage if they can't afford to feed them, and as a result, 80% of kids in Haiti's orphanages have one or both parents living. While the orphanages may be able to provide food, investigations have revealed that many require forced labor and abuse the children. The government is shutting them down and banning construction of new ones. But that leaves the orphans with nowhere to live. Nonprofits like Little Footprints, Big Steps are stepping in the gap. Social workers show the children pictures of landmarks to see if they remember where they lived. Then they begin searching for the families, sometimes sent out with only a picture of the child and a vague description of a neighborhood. It's an arduous task in a country of more than 11 million people and no residential phone books. Many families have no physical address or digital footprint. But the success stories are heartwarming. Siblings Louise and Myson were reunited with their mom after 3 years. They ran barefoot out of the orphanage, leaving their sandals behind. They're still living in poverty, but the nonprofit that helped reunite the family also helped build them a house. Little Footprints, Big Steps has also stepped up to hire an agronomist, someone who specializes in crop production, to help families produce crops to eat or sell. This kind of care allows families to stay intact while still helping those in poverty.
On this date in world history, England embarked on its Elizabethan era on this date in 1558, when Elizabeth I ascended the throne at age 25. The popular monarch led her nation for more than 4 decades, helping establish England as a major world power. Dr. Livingstone, I presume! Those words were spoken, probably not in that way, about David Livingstone. He was a missionary and explorer from Scotland, and on November 17, 1855, it's recorded that Livingstone became the first European to see Africa's Victoria Falls in what is now Zambia and Zimbabwe. Finally, canal history was made on this date. In 1869, the Suez Canal opened in Egypt after 10 years of construction, and in 1913, the first ship sailed through the Panama Canal, which would officially open the following August.
If you're traveling over the Thanksgiving holiday, pack your patience. It's expected to be a record-setting travel season in the skies and a busy one on the roads. AAA is forecasting 55.4 million people will be traveling to their holiday destinations, including more than 49 million who will drive to their destination between the Wednesday before Thanksgiving and the Sunday after the holiday. If you're hitting the road, AAA says that Wednesday afternoon is still the worst time to hit the roads, with AAA recommending you leave on actual Thanksgiving Day.
It shortens the amount of time that you're at your destination, but it also shortens the amount of time that you're in transit.
If you're taking to the skies, brace yourself for packed airports and possible delays and cancellations. The Transportation Security Administration is bracing for an all-time record number of passengers at airports nationwide on this Sunday after Thanksgiving.
From east to west, our audience is best, and today's shoutouts are going to the dogs. In the Peach State of Georgia, we've got the Huskies watching this Friday. Mrs. Scott Tompkins and the students of Hightower Trail Middle School are in Marietta. Great to see y'all again. And in the Pacific Wonderland of Oregon, Mr. McCallum's students at Days Creek Charter School are online in Days Creek. Let's go Wolves! One other school we're visiting today is in the U.S. state of New Mexico. Aztec High School has a popular team manager. His name is Bryson Greenhouse. He's a freshman who reportedly wears the same number his uncle wore when he played for the Tigers. And in a recent game, Bryson got the ball, the chance to run with it, and an experience neither he nor his mom will soon forget.
How about a treasured teammate? Freshman Bryson Greenhouse is the team manager for the Aztec High School football team in New Mexico. He's also special needs. The team came together to give Bryson a moment to remember. During a recent game, with the plan in place and the opposing team on board, Bryson got his spot to shine. Wearing number 31 and slotting in at running back, taking the handoff, and touchdown, Bryson! A marvelous moment they won't forget.
It made my heart so warm that I was so happy. Words can't even describe the way that I feel or still feel.
Well, we started with a story about animal transportation. That's where we're winding up. In rural North Carolina, a bear family, not named Berenstain, recently got locked into a van they'd entered, somehow. Police arrived, confirmed the problem, and then tied a long rope to a door handle to help the animals from a distance. Mama Bear, all 250 pounds of her, was the first to get out. Then she watched and waited until her cubs flew the coop, or the van, and they all returned safely to the woods. Unbelievable! But think of cars named after animals. You've got Beetles, Broncos, Cobras, Impalas, Mustangs, Raptors, Vipers. Where are the bears? Do companies think bear names would seem pandering or too much of a spectacle? Or are they afraid of Bear Downs Gas Grizzlers or Hira bear bills? You'd think the roar of an engine would cause a lot of makers to get loaded for bear and see what the market could bear by hunting down some Cody accolades. I'm Carl Azus. Fridays are awesome. We will be on the air next Monday and Tuesday. Please tune in then for more news and puns. This is The World from A to Z.